All right, guys, moving on to our next Patreon request, and this one comes from Tom Hibbert, who asked me to do a video talking about 10 villains from 10 horror-like villains or 10 scary villains from non-horror properties. As always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link in the description box below. Head on over to my Patreon, hit the second tier. That'll allow you access to do so. But other than that, hope you all enjoy this, and let's get started with the video. So, yeah, 10 villains from non-scary elements. So it would be remiss not to talk about our first one. And again, this is no order. So the first villain we're going to talk about is the Grimlock from Neverending Story. It would be a crime not to mention Grimlock from Neverending Story. That thing, when it showed up as a kid, and I'm sure every Gen Xer and Millennial who've seen that movie, when I mentioned the Grimlock's name, literally winced just a bit, because that was the scariest scene I had ever, even as a kid, that opening scene I'd always like turn away when they show the Grimlock, when you just see his eyes and teeth in the darkness. Yeah, that was terrifying. That was absolutely the scariest thing I had ever seen up until that point in a movie as a kid. Although I will say the turtle also kind of weirded me out. But the Grimlock, Neverending Story isn't a horror movie per se. It's more of a dark fantasy kind of story. But if I'm going to be honest, you could count as a horror movie the whole way through. But yeah, the Grimlock was him. Even though he only had a minor amount of screen time, yeah, the Grimlock was just absolutely horrifying. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The Grimlock was just scared you. Next up for another one, Darkness from Legend. We're doing another dark fantasy one. And yeah, Legend isn't really a horror movie, but dear God, is Darkness intimidating and scary. I will say, though, Tim Curry probably turned on a lot of people. I don't know if Darkness counts, but in Legend, like I said, I don't know if that one counts more than anything else, but like I do think that Darkness was way too scary, but I'm sure that also like turned on a lot of people as well. But I am counting that. So next up, we're going to talk about, for the next one on our list, this villain, I don't know, like, I guess like for one villain from like if you were to talk about like scary villains from non-horror based villains, you could look all over Tolkien, but I can think of no better than Shelob. I just hate spiders to begin with. Like arachnophobia is one of my biggest fears. So you can imagine when they said like, oh, we're gonna see Shelob, and I'm like, what's Shelob? Because at that point I had only seen the movies, I had never read the books. And they're like, oh, Shelob is a spider who consumes all. And I'm like, oh, cool. And I don't know what it is with Peter Jackson with spiders in general, but the spider pit from Kong and Hobbit. What do you got with spiders, man? Like, ugh. And those spiders, from just how Shelob moved, how she like just kind of like scurried about. It was so unsettling because it felt like just a real spider. Just really terrifying. 1 second. What? Come on. Everybody, this is Jasper. So professional on this channel. This is Jasper, and he is my sister's dog I am watching for a bit. Anyway. Hey, more... I guess dogs get you more views, so yeah. Anyway, but like I said, Shelob is just an absolute terror in this series, and I can think of no better villain to have on this list. Next up, we have... I just had it too, from a non-horror movie. Well, this one's more of a game. The Flood. The Flood from Halo are absolutely horrifying. Even though Halo never bills itself as a horror game, the Flood are just the scariest thing in video games you have ever seen. In any movie. These guys will come at you. They will it's an endless swarm in this franchise. And, oh, I know, buddy, I know. They are just an endless swarm of F around and find out, and you don't want to find out. That also goes for the Reapers from Mass Effect. The Reapers from Mass Effect are another horror thing that is just not like a property that it's just another horror property that really scares the crap out of you, because when you see them in action, especially like just this unending force coming at you again and again, I can think of no greater threat than the Reapers. Just this unending force that fighting them the first time around was just terrifying. So there you go. There's another one. I would say like another great horror villain is Xana from Code Lyoko. Xana to me is almost Lovecraftian in a way. He is like at the start kind of like a Skynet-esque villain, but at the same time he's going to come at you like throughout the show. You see him get stronger and stronger as the series progresses more and more into the seasons. You see him like taking over people. You see him taking over non-electronic things, possessing mice, bugs. Anything was a plaything to him. He almost became like a Lovecraftian creature. You okay, buddy? He was almost like just a nightmare. Like anything could and will fall under his will. And I think that's what makes Xana so goddamn terrifying, if I'm being honest. He was just this unending threat. Then you had Imperfect Cell from Dragon Ball Z. I don't care what anyone says. When we were in the Imperfect Cell saga, Imperfect Cell was just a horror villain. Like he was just a slasher in a horror movie, and that's when Dragon Ball Z became a horror for a hot second with Imperfect Cell. So yeah, I was just like, yeah, I feel like I'm missing someone. Oh yeah, Imperfect Cell, absolutely. So there you go, guys. Those are a few horror villains that are horror-based villains that aren't really horror, that aren't really like from horror franchises. Yeah, I think I got around 10. If not, it doesn't matter. He wants to go out, and I don't want to have him take a dump in my room. But anyway, you guys tell me in the comments below, what are some horror villains you would like to see in... not see, but what are some of your favorite horror-like villains from non-horror franchises? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in Multiverse.